Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and the markets over Christmas have been flat to a little bit negative, but nothing crazy. It just feels like these engines are warming for me, folks. But it's been pretty non-eventful over Christmas. But I'm going to show you in this video what people have shown has happened in the past with regard to this and other things. But first, I want to remind everybody this tweet I put out on Christmas yesterday. I was talking about how the headlines are all Michael Saylor and Saylor's a genius, he's a great investor and all this. So I wanted to break down the numbers, and I asked Grok. Grok basically delivered up that MicroStrategy had about 7.3 billion in debt, Bitcoin holdings of 43 billion. So I wanted to remind everybody of Ripple. Ripple has no debt and $1 billion of cash. That was Brad Garlinghouse. He said it more than one time. The XRP escrow, as using numbers from September 30th, that was their quarterly report. And today's, not necessarily today, yesterday, I don't remember what the price was when I did this. But anyway, it's roughly 88 billion is what the escrow is valued at. Which one of those companies do you think is a better investor in a better position in this market? It's really obvious when you look at it, which is what makes all of this a mystery. Well, it's not really a mystery because this guy's from the VC pump gang. Chamath Pello, however you say his name is. Watch this.
Who's the best investor of 2024 in your mind besides yourself? I was going to say me, but we know. I'd give it to Michael Saylor. I think that... Whoa! Bitcoin Max is in the back. He's found this incredible... He's an investor. I mean, he's the executive chairman of MicroStrategy, so he's not really involved into the day-to-day. He's really running their Bitcoin position, and he's created this massively levered long...
Exactly. Massively levered long. So in other words, Ripple is sitting on more of a pot than he is with no leverage. It's a no-brainer which company has done it right.
Bitcoin play. He's borrowing money at essentially zero. It's his returns are bananas right now. What could go wrong?
Yeah, now you're over the target. So I went to Grok and I said, well, based on those figures and all, give me an approximate of what Ripple should be worth. Last time I saw their valuation, it was like 11.3 billion. Well, check this out. I'm not going to go through all of that. I got too much to cover. Based on these assumptions, if Ripple's equity, and folks, this is all ballpark. This isn't even, this is a back of the napkin valuation based on Ripple's escrow being added into the balance sheet, more or less. Based on these assumptions, if Ripple's equity were to be valued similarly in terms of premium to its primary asset XRP escrow, as MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings, one might suggest a valuation of around 133.76 billion. This should be taken with caution, and here's all the cautionary items. Okay, so it's not in stone. But I also wanted to remind everybody of this because Sean McBride, who used to work at Ripple, responded to me talking about this, and he says, I'd talk even more, but Brad has ordered our lips to be sealed. So this guy's under NDA. All these people are under NDA. Just imagine the stuff we're going to find out when those NDAs expire. As I recall from the lawsuit, there was like 1,700 contracts that nobody's seen. So now, and against that backdrop, my sponsor linked to, you can go to linqto.com to find out if you're accredited. My sponsor has Ripple Private Equity, one of the very few places you can get it, on the platform right now. I checked this morning. You can download the Link2 app or go to linqto.com. All right, I have a question. Why is Scott Cooper from A16Z Why has he not demanded Gary Gensler release the Bill Hinman IG report that he's sitting on? He was in the meetings with Bill Hinman in the lead up to the Ethereum free pass. There needs to be a reckoning on Ethgate for crypto to move forward. Copied in Donald Trump, copied in Eleanor Terrett, who actually did this tweet. Wednesday, March 28th, 11 a.m., Hinman was scheduled meeting with Scott Cooper, managing partner of A16Z, right here. Thursday, very next day, 12:30, Hinman had a scheduled meeting with Consensus. That would be Joe Lubin and SEC Corporate Finance Amy Starr. And then on April 6th, let's see, meeting about titled Ether. And then, of course, you know the rest of the story. Bill Hinman, after he got out of the SEC, where does he end up? As an advisor, and still is, at A16Z. Tell me how that works. Now, the reason I'm calling this guy out and saying he needs to demand the release of that IG report is because if he's going to be in the Trump administration, that's a major conflict that needs to be resolved. He should be demanding it. Here he is.
We believe very strongly that,
this is from, I think, right before the election.
We believe very strongly that, a world where you had kind of distributed computing platforms that were kind of governed, broadly as opposed to centrally, we think is a positive world, and therefore, something that we want to, kind of see move forward. You're absolutely right, which is there's no question that, look, the regulatory environment is dramatically tougher than it was. This is not a political statement, but look, there's no question. I think if you talk to anybody in the crypto world, that Gary Gensler's kind of reign at the SEC.
You have to understand, this guy's talking about Gary Gensler and regulations. He's talking about it as if he wasn't there in 2018. He was in the SEC talking to Bill Hinman. These guys had an opportunity to help craft regulations for an entire industry, but they chose to try to create a monopoly for Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's the problem. They had a chance. And then once they saw Ethgate exposed, I'm guessing that once they saw that exposed, they said, oh, we got to start lobbying again. We got to really ramp this up because this Ethereum monopoly Bill Hinman created is not going to stand.
It has made it very difficult for these companies. And as a result, you've definitely seen things slow down. So rate of new company formation has slowed down. You
have to remember what Joseph Lubin said after they got the Ethereum free pass, after the speech. He said on multiple occasions that basically Ethereum is decentralized because Bill Hinman said so, but it's going to be really hard for anybody else to get decentralized and come in and see us and all that. I mean, he was telling everybody, Ethereum's got this decentralization because we had the SEC say so, Bill Hinman, but it's going to be kind of hard for anybody else to do it now. And he said, I think that they've said all they're going to say on this. I think they've provided all the guidance they're going to provide. In other words, they've slammed the door on everyone else.
And things in the consumer space like NFTs, which I would think even probably Gary Gensler might in some cases admit are not actually securities. It's very difficult for people to kind of build those out. And certainly kind of the finance related applications that we first saw, this decentralized finance, a lot of that has gotten, kind of culled back as a result of kind of the, SEC's position. Our hope is that, and this is something public, we as an organization have been spending a lot of time in DC trying to help educate regulators why we think this technology is important and why we think in a free market it actually makes a lot of sense. We will see what happens, obviously, in this election cycle. But our hope is that there's definitely a greater understanding now, even among both camps of folks who are running for president about it. And so we are hopeful, at least the regulatory environment will be enhanced. We've always been of the view that, look, regulation is good, and to your point, there's a lot of bad actors in the space, and that's not good for anything. Our main objection...
The irony is a lot of the bad actors have been at the SEC.
It's been kind of regulation by enforcement as opposed to regulation by rulemaking. And so we're hopeful that we can actually continue some of the work we've done in the House on getting a bill through that would actually create a regulatory framework. It's currently now sitting in the Senate. I don't know that it'll get taken up before this election, but if we could do...
Let me make a prediction, by the way. I believe Gary Gensler is probably going to drop that report on everybody to give these guys a big FU now that they're in the Trump administration. I bet he does.
That at least we would have a stable framework for defining what is a security and how do people kind of go forward in this industry. So we are at an inflection point where I would say we need a more positive regulatory environment in order for crypto to be able to become at least what we would like.
I don't remember those guys parading around worried about regulations after the Hinman speech. I don't remember them doing much of anything, showing back up once Ethgate was exposed. Look at this. We've got about 5 days left, folks. This was Brad Garlinghouse's prediction for end of 2024.
Recently predicted that the crypto market will double in size to $5 trillion by the end of 2024. That is a big prediction just by the end of this year.
Yeah, I don't even feel like it's that big a prediction when you step back. And, like any market, this is driven by supply and demand. You have decreasing supply for a whole bunch of reasons, the halving Bitcoin being an important one. You have an increasing demand, the ETF being a key part of that. And I think it's also people realizing that crypto plays a role as an asset. It's a $2.5 trillion market. Maybe it's a little less than that now. But so it's basically just predicting it's going to double by the end of the year. And if anything, I think I probably under-predicted that.
Okie dokie. Check this out. There's a lot. You need to see what everybody's kind of saying is coming. Open interest has shot up 1 billion in one day. Whales are overwhelmingly buying XRP versus retail now. Crypto bull, we're close. XRP about to go higher. Egrag Crypto, he says XRP is stubborn at 27. Let's break it down. When XRP crossed this, let me get to the fun stuff. He says, compared to 2017, the current pump to 27 represents only 9.5% of the explosive growth seen back then. If we discount the move by a whopping 90.46%, the 4,770% pump is just a fraction of the full 50,000% potential. Do you still believe XRP won't melt faces? Check the chart below. Look at this. This is interesting. He says this is his taking profit region. He's got it between $4 and $27 basically, or he's got it between $4 and $130. That is. So Egrag is very optimistic, as am I. This is what Christmas 2020 looked like, the same kind of thing we just went through, and then it went absolutely nuts. And then here's 2025. We've gone through basically the same kind of thing. Look what could potentially be ahead. And then here's a graph of the first Trump administration and what crypto did. One of the huge legs up, and now we're entering the similar phase. So we'll see what happens. Milky Bull Crypto says history doesn't repeat itself, but often rhymes. Get ready for Q1 explosive alt season. And he too is showing kind of how things happened he's showing how things have happened, but he's shown the 2020 explosion again, back during COVID and all that, and how things exploded. And then here's another one, 2020 showing what happened right up to December, and then now we're entering 2025. Everybody seems to be in lockstep on what they think here, folks. At least you look at this. This is interesting. This is how does the XRP ledger T-bill work? Here's the the 5-step process. 1, XRP deposit. Participants deposit XRP into the pool. XRP lockup, deposited XRP securely locked in an infinite block wallet, which is, I'm assuming, institutional custody. 3, stablecoin loan. Locked XRP is used as collateral to borrow stable coins. 4, T-bill participation. Stable coins fund T-bills, generating reliable returns. Profit sharing at maturity. Principal plus T-bill profits are distributed to participants. Now, folks, I'm going to do something very important in DAIXRP.com. What I told you the 2 things that you must do by the end of the year. One of those things was the with LLCs, and Jeremy Hogan put out an update on that. And don't quote me, but I think he said the deadline on declaring all the people in your LLCs, and you can go to fincin.gov to do that. That you got to declare everybody, fill out these forms for everybody involved in any LLC you own. And if you don't do it, you will be fined $500 a day for every day that you don't do it for every LLC that you have. And they've even got in there a potential prison time that you could get if you don't do it. So that's important. Do that by, I think you got to go look at Jeremy Hogan's feed. I think he said January 13th, but don't quote me on that. Go check for yourself. Now, in DAIXRP.com, there's one other thing that you've got to do by the end of the year that is, it might make a huge difference in your pocketbook and how your crypto profits end up. And I found the perfect video that describes exactly what you got to do, and you got to see this. And we're going to play that for you. I'm the digital asset, and they lay out every single step of what you've got to do to protect yourself. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.